So I'm here today down at the launch of the Hot Water Comedy Club. It's really pleased to meet you. My name's Rob. I'm an emergency nurse clinician. I've worked in the emergency departments now across the Northwest for sadly coming up to 30 years now. When I started in A&E, if we got a stabbing in back in 95 and you weren't on duty, you were like, what did you have to do? What did you see? Now, nobody bats an eyelid. And what we've been doing, we've been going around schools, colleges, wherever we'll have us, trying to educate young people about the reality of what it's like if you're involved in a knife attack. What we've been doing, we've been flooding the city with these bleeding control packs. There's pretty much every bar and club now in the city have got one of these packs, but also they've had training from doctors, surgeons, nurses to help deal with an injury if you see it. Yeah. 18 of the last 21 fatalities in this city have been killed from single stab wounds. We're not losing people who are getting hacked and butchered and macheted. We're losing people from single stab wounds. So we realised that actually, we can go around and educate young people, but actually what we also need to be doing is educating young people about how to control a bleed. And we know of at least 5 or 6 occasions within the city centre, particularly where lives have been saved, where these packs have been used. Good. And that's where you come in, because, I'm a bald-headed 52-year-old bloke.
If I can do it, anyone can do it.
Well, if you can do it, that is it. But also, guess what? Nobody's going to listen to me on Twitter. Nobody can listen to me on TikTok or whatever. This is where you come in, and that's why we're so grateful. Within these packs, there's the kit here that potentially could save somebody's life. This pack costs about 50, 60 quid. But if you see someone that's been stabbed, what would you do?
I'd probably
apart from shit yourself.
phone you, probably.
Help! What would you do? You've got somebody
I'll
in
probably try
front
and
of you.
keep pressure on it, maybe. I don't
Okay,
know.
and how long are you keeping the pressure on for?
I've got until you turn up.
Yeah, okay, until the brown trousers kick in.
Yeah.
You keep the pressure on for as long as you can. You don't be taking it off and having a wee look. You press as hard as you can.
Okay.
If you've got one of these bleed packs, then there's stuff in here that you can pack into a wound, and this stuff is basically impregnated with like a special dressing, and you pack that into the wound and get it right
So
down in
stick
there.
it right in?
Oh yeah, stick it as far in as you can. You've got tourniquets in here should you need to use them. This stuff is made out of like seashell, and basically you tear this, and this is, if you can imagine, you've got a wound, and you literally just pack as much of that into the wound as you possibly can.
Just get your fingers in.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's all right. Shit's fine. Yeah, because we're talking about something serious, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
so the blood will contact this, and basically this will cause the blood to clot and potentially save somebody's life.
Awesome.
We know of lives that have been lost in this city because these kits haven't been available. We know of several young people that have only been stabbed once and have bled to death because there was either nobody there that knew what to do or no kit available what to do. Equally, if someone gets stabbed, you might not have a kit around, so what are you going to do?
How long would that take?
Somebody can bleed to death from a single stab wound in 5 minutes.
Oh,
If I call 999 now and say we need an ambulance here, how long do you think?
Longer than 5 minutes. Wait, we're miles away, yeah.
Well, we're miles away here.
20 minutes,
The NHS is under huge pressure. You're looking, if you're lucky, 10 minutes. By that time, unless somebody's dealt with it or knows what to do, somebody's going to bleed to death. 50% of people in our city that carry a blade will be injured with their own blade. So the evidence is actually that if you're taking a knife out with you, there's a 50% chance that that knife will be taken off you and used against you.
Yeah.
And the departments are overwhelmed now, sadly, with young people, mainly young people in that world of hanging around in gangs, dealing with probably relatively small amounts of drug dealing, but that are coming into the emergency departments having been stabbed. And it has huge implications on the emergency department and the pressure. But actually, this bit's the easy bit. The bleeding and the guts and stopping the bleeding is the easy bit. The hardest part of my job, what do you think that is?
I don't know, probably keeping them awake, keeping them bleeding, maybe.
No.
I don't know.
Hardest part of my job is never ever the blood and guts. Hardest part of my job is within the first 10 seconds of me meeting you as a parent and saying, hi, my name's Rob. I'm one of the clinicians here. I'm sorry, I've got no good news to tell you. I'm sorry to say your son's dead. And it is as brutal as that. Within that first 10, 15 seconds, as one of us doctors and nurses go through to your family, we will destroy your life like that in 10, 15 seconds. So the blood and guts, actually, that's what we're trained for, isn't it? And when we're dealing with it, we're dealing with it with an amazing team. When we go in to speak to you as a family, you're a parent yourself? Yeah. Young kids, thankfully your kids, I guess, you're not old enough to have kids that are going out into town as yet, but, you imagine.
I've got a stepson who's 18, so
there you go.
He's starting to do that,
Imagine being sat in that little room, God willing it'll never happen, and I'm sure it won't, and one of us coming through and saying these words to you in the middle of the night. Hi, my name's Rob, I'm one of the clinicians here, I'm sorry I've got no good news to tell you, I'm sorry to say your son's dead. And I know we're at a comedy club, and this is by no means a funny subject, but you know, your profile here is that's why we're so grateful that Liverpool's an amazing place.
Yeah.
You know, I'm Scouse born and bred, but Liverpool is one of those cities that said, yeah, we've got problems. We know we've got problems, but you know what? We're going to bloody well do something about it. And that's why we will take every opportunity with anybody that's got any sort of profile to try and get these messages out.
Okay.